Sid, thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I know you're a busy guy trying to get Broca off the ground. For people that aren't familiar with Broca, Broca is a tool that uses GPT-3 to essentially generate content and help marketers with a lot of their marketing. Sid, you can probably do a much better introduction than I can. I'll let you do that. But I wanted to share this briefly with everybody because this solves like a really awesome problem that I've experienced a lot as a product marketer. Even in my last role when I was working over on launching a new digital bank, one case that we ran into is we needed to launch a loan product to our customer base, but our customer base hated loan products. And so it's really difficult to figure out how you can position something that maybe your customers even hate. And one of the things that we did is actually we came up with 5 different products that we didn't call a loan. We called it several other things, but ultimately it was a loan. And we put it in front of customers. We tested it. One of them, just as an example, was we did call it a loan in this case, but it was the level up loan. It turns out our customers were like very debt adverse and they didn't want to take on debt for like consumer things or anything like that. But we tested like a loan for education. We tested a loan for, buying small things like TVs or whatever it may be. And when we reposition this product in multiple ways in front of our customers, there was one that stood out and actually was a huge win for us. We had like a conversion rate of 25% in front of customers like that, whereas the other ones were showing like we would have almost no conversion rate on it because they were so debt adverse. But that was a very long, painful process for us to like come up with these different products, build landing pages for them, put them in front of customers, test them, all that kind of stuff. Quite literally, this was like a month-long project for us to come up with the product, the positioning, and that initial landing page that we wanted to bring to market potentially. So, Sid, I got really excited when you said that you were building this out because I learned that Broca and GPT-3 is just way more creative than I am potentially. That I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it's just a lot faster at being able to generate ideas and reposition a lot of these things. And I know that you've also been using Winter as well too to kind of validate sort of the same way that I was just checking about as well. So would love to see if you could give us a walkthrough on like solving this problem of coming up with new positioning ideas for marketers and being able to test that somehow in market and how this potentially can do that exceptionally quickly and easily and creatively as well too. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So just briefly, Broca is a platform that empowers marketing teams to create marketing campaigns and generate all the content for those campaigns together. So you come in here, you give us a brief, just the way like you would regularly do it in a normal marketing campaign at a company, right? You come up with a campaign brief, and then you would come up with some sort of like um, core messaging, core value proposition of this campaign, and then you would hand it off to your copywriter or your advertiser or your blog post person, and they would all use that brief and the core messaging to create the content, right? So those are the kind of the 3 steps we follow here. Is like you start by giving us a brief, which is what we're seeing on the screen right now. And so, we're taking the example of Pavlok, which is they've done a case study with Winter over here. And so the idea of Pavlok is that it is a wristband that kind of detects your movements. And so if you want to quit smoking, it will detect your hand motion, and then it will give you like a little bit of a zap,
right.
safe zap, but it sort of just like snaps you out of that habit.
And admittedly, like that's been on the product. That's been a product that's been out for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see that they're visiting their positioning now at this point too, right? Like that they're going ahead and testing stuff on Winter and everything like that. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things is because I know the founder, but um, I think it's also just how do you explain to people that this device that shocks you is not lethal or anything, right? Like
yeah,
this is very it's important to get the messaging correct for this kind of thing as well, right? So getting that feedback from actual users, and they got some really good feedback here. So like people are unclear, what is it? Is it an app, a mobile device? How does it work? that kind of thing. And I think maybe on the homepage, there was not a lot of talk about how it actually worked because of that aspect of it zaps you. But yeah, so it's very unclear about what it is and how it works.
Yeah.
So
So like this is actually like really close to the process that I went through when we were testing our loan product. I think we would go ahead, come up with like a fake landing page, put it in front of customers, get that exact feedback, and then try and iterate on the feedback that we're getting. But it is like quite a bit of work to do this multiple times and get creative and generate different ideas that you can test with users. So anyways, you're taking some of the content that's right now directly from the Pavlok website and some of that feedback, and you've already plugged it in to Broca
yeah,
here, right?
yeah. I mean, so to your point, right? Like if you wanted to test out a bunch of different messagings, you just create each one as a new campaign here, and you would describe it differently, right?
Yeah,
So the way I'm describing it here is that it tracks your steps, activities, sleeping patterns, and then snaps you out of automatic thinking. But I could also describe it as the Pavlok wristband uses electric shocks to stop you from doing bad habits. You can input your bad habits, and then it would stop you from doing that. Right? It's a completely
right.
different way of doing it, and it focuses on the zapping, whereas this one
Yeah,
focuses on snapping you out of it, and maybe a different way that focuses on health benefits. The Pavlok wristband, makes sure that you sleep well and that you lose weight and all of that kind of stuff, right? So,
yeah,
so this is just one way we're going to test it out, and then let's go with what do we want to do for keywords? So the keyword is also just like it gives it a bit of a direction in which direction we want to focus in terms of the content. Um,
right.
so maybe sleep tracker, um, wristband, habit wristband or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is, and just to be clear, like our little brief here that we put together is actually really bad. I feel like in many ways, like definitely could be better. And so I'm actually curious to see how Broca does with it.
Yeah, it is. It's really bad, right? Like what you want to do ideally is kind of just give it a bit more content and context so that it understands what is this product and it understands the brand here, right? So there's only one sentence for brand. It should be three. There's only like, again, two sentences here. It should probably be maybe 4 or 5 sentences, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Um, but let's see what it does. So, like I said, you first go into that core messaging, and then the third step is we create from the core messaging, we create the individual channel content that we want to promote our website or landing page on, right? So we click next here, and now just thinking, right? It's going to take some time, maybe 10 to 15 seconds, but it's going to go. Oh, it was faster than I expected. Well, this is pretty cool. The truth is, you're not living your best life.
Yeah.
Pavlov
So
kept
like
you hate.
that's kind of what I was hoping was going to come out here because that's what I've seen already is like you give it kind of a really subpar input, and if we're being honest, most marketers are fairly subpar product marketers, and it comes out with something that you read and you're like, wow, like I want to learn more about whatever this is, right? Like a very convincing
Yeah.
message to kind of captivate you. So
I think this is a great start right away. The truth is, you're not living your best life, and that just sort of like that's like, you know what? You're right, Pavlok. I am not living my best life. Um, so if you think about what does a typical homepage look like, right? So up here you have your tagline, and so
yeah,
yours is the wearable that snaps you out of autopilot. And I think maybe the truth is you're not living your best life is actually a much better one than
I
that.
think it's better.
Yeah.
It definitely caught my eye for sure. So
Right.
I think that's really cool.
And then your value proposition is kind of this thing. Pavlok wakes you up effortlessly, yada yada. But this is interestingly enough, it kind of uses very similar lingo, but we wake up and bring you in the present moment when you're falling into a bad habit. I feel like this is a little more succinct, concise,
Yeah,
whereas this was maybe a little too wordy. But it depends on how you want to do that.
I,
And
I
then
I agree. It could be a little bit better that one, but I do think that like it's not bad, right? And the
yeah,
thing is like you can iterate on this multiple times to get out what you want out of it, right?
absolutely, yeah. So you can keep
Yeah,
regenerating and getting more content. And truth is, you could also just like mix and match a whole bunch of different content, right? So the next section here, key benefits, is kind of this section, right? So you think about every website, Unbounce, Pavlok, whatever, Winter, the website flows the same. Tagline, core value proposition, key benefits, right? So we're basically generating all of this content, and we generate 3, but here you've got 6. So you could regenerate and get 3 more if you wanted to. But
right.
this is interesting, right? Form better habits, increase your self-awareness, and increase your self-control. And it actually goes into we deliver electroshock. So I'm super surprised that it actually figured that one out. But
Yeah, because I don't think that we gave it that much
we do not.
piece.
This is
Yeah, that's cool.
right out of the bat is just like really good stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%. And so if you click add benefit, then it'll go ahead and just try and generate new benefits essentially, or
Right now it doesn't generate it, but just it allows you to input another benefit that you think you want.
understand.
The
Okay, cool.
reason
Yeah,
we
that's really
have
cool.
that is, and all of this is editable. The reason being, again, this is your core messaging, right? So you edit it, you work with your team, collaborate, and say, all right, this is the kind of message we want to go out to market with. Now let's create our ad copy, Facebook posts, Twitter, LinkedIn posts, and stuff, right?
Gotcha.
So if you feel like this is fairly good, should we go ahead and do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So here we're creating all of the various content for different channels. So, taking that core messaging, we could potentially go out and build a landing page for that. And then, like we said earlier, for each different campaign, we'd have different core messaging generated. And then we have multiple landing pages to test out. And then we'd also have like the different promotional content over here to test out. Again, it's just going to take some time to generate this, but here we go. Okay. Google Ad headlines, form better habits, strengthen your willpower, habit change, self-control, stop forget. All of this is really good stuff. And then you have the descriptions. This one is cut off because it confirms to the Google Ad character limitation guidelines. So
That's cool. Pavlok is the personal trainer for your mind.
Oh my God, this is gold right here. Man, I should show this to Manish. He's gonna be like,
I think you should.
He's gonna be shocked.
So I think what's kind of scary is like, as product marketers, we'll spend potentially months trying to refine this and get stuff that like you're like, wow, that sounds great. And here, like maybe this doesn't land. It still needs to be validated. It needs to be tested and that kind of stuff. But like, at least on surface level, I'm like, yeah, I could take an interest in this. Like, I'm curious. I want to learn more. So I feel like for a lot of companies, just to get to that point takes a very long time if they ever do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
So we can navigate through various stuff. We work here, bring you to the present moment. All right, good stuff. And so we give you like a whole bunch of options as well, right?
Yeah.
If you're ready to create a better life for yourself, it's for you. This is like, good advertising, like 101. Call out the people who really need your product, right? So
yeah.
And this is taking from that core value proposition there. So yeah, lots of content variations for each channel. Again, allows you to also just test different messaging for the same homepage. So or landing page in this case. Again, the Twitter keeps it within the character limitations. And yeah, there you go. So yeah, we've seen 100 people stop smoking, lose weight, study more, get rest, study Pavlok. I mean, this is perfect, right? And we didn't even give them any of the stuff, but it's figured out that bad habits equate to smoking, losing weight, and so therefore it's created that connection over here.
Yeah, 100%. That's really cool. So I think like if we were to take this to the next step, then pairing it with a tool like Winter, taking some of these ideas, putting it into Winter. Do you mind going back to that Winter case page there? Like we could take some of this, put it in here, and actually test it in front of people, get new feedback, and be able to validate that that is actually resonating with people or not. So we can actually get some qualitative data rather than just me going with my gut here saying like, hey, this really resonates with me. Which makes between the two of them an exceptionally powerful solution for people to find solid product marketing, right? Or just even landing pages that work or ads that work.
Yeah, exactly. Like any type of content you're doing, any marketing you're doing, Broca could create that, generate that content for you. If it's product marketing specifically, yeah, you'd want to think about the messaging of that product and how it comes across to potential customers. If you're doing an ebook, you probably don't need to do it that way. But yeah, like your example of creating 5 different products for essentially the same service that you were offering.
Yeah.
I don't know how many weeks that took for you, but what is it? We took 15 minutes right now to create like the variation for this. And now
it was like a month almost for us to get through the full process of like building, testing, getting feedback and then
Yeah.
choosing one, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you've got content options right now, and now you're ready to go and test it already, right? Within 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool. Anything else you want to share about this before we kind of like finish up here, or anything else about Broca?
Yeah. I mean, like we just spoke about one use case, which is testing product or product messaging and website messaging, right? And there's other use cases like uh, what if I want to just start generating more landing pages for my brand, right? Just for like better SEO, right?
Yeah,
So let's say Unbounce. What are some keywords that Unbounce would like to rank for?
yeah.
Landing page,
Landing pages, obviously, conversion rate,
conversion rate.
increased conversion rate, stuff like that, right?
Every single keyword you can think of, you can create a brand new landing page for. That's very hyper focused on that keyword,
Right. Very
and
long
you
tail.
just generate the content for it. And now you have 100 different landing pages, right, which you publish there. And they're all very specifically focused on one keyword, right? So you can go super long tail with it.
Yeah,
And imagine how powerful that is then, because now you have, before you didn't have that. You had that one homepage that hopefully will capture 5 or 10 keywords and 100 long tail keywords. But now you have one landing page for each one. Obviously, you want to do a
yeah,
bit of interlinking, a bit of backlinking to boost the SEO, but you have the content now. It doesn't take you months to do that.
yeah. Normally, if you wanted to do a strategy like that, you would need a small army,
Yeah,
essentially building out landing pages to rank for a long tail keyword that maybe you're only going to get like 10, 15, 20 results on a
yeah,
month, right?
yeah. Most companies will then just say, you know what, we can't do that because we don't have the people.
Yeah,
I mean, now you
yeah.
have people. It's a software, but you have it now. Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of other use cases, obviously, ebooks, landing, webinars, blog content, you name it. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sid. Really appreciate you taking a few minutes just to share this with us.
Cool, man. Yeah. Hope that helped.